Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I am back with a paper bag mini album today. And these are some really cute bags that I got at the dollar store probably a year, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. I remember a lot of people hauling them when they first came out. And there's glitter on one bag. They came in 3 packs. And then I got 2 of the different 3 packs. So there's glitter on one of the bags. And those are the bags I'll use for the front and back. And then I'll use some of these other bags for my interior pages. And they're really cute, but they're quite wide. They're quite a big bag. And because of the width, it makes it a little hard on this pocket for making a pocket with the bottom of the bag. And you'll see how I solve that and work with that here in a second. So I just kept one of the gift tags on there. And then I take one of these that's going to be an interior page, and you can see because of that gusset, it's not very deep, and so things I'm afraid will fall out of the bag if I leave it like that and glue that down as a tuck spot. So I take out that interior cardboard. I don't need that. It just adds bulk. I can use it as a pattern here for covering the bottom later. What I'm going to do in order to solve the depth of the pocket, so I'm going to make a mark on each side of the 3x4 card, and then without cutting my fingers off, I am going to insert a craft knife and just make a slit in the side of the bag. And that is going to allow the card to slip all the way into the full depth of the bag so that things, won't be falling out. And then I'm just going to glue both sides of that flap to create my pocket. I'm going to use a little bit of score tape, which is a really sticky double-sided tape, and then a tiny bit of wet glue so that whatever I put in the pocket won't get stuck in the score tape. And whenever I can, anyway, I like to use both a dry and a wet glue whenever I can. I think that just works better for longevity. And this is I believe it is Kringle & Co. is the name of this paper pad. I got it at TJ Maxx years ago, and it's a single-sided paper, which is fine because I'm just going to use it to cover the bottoms of the bags or my new flaps or pockets that I'm made. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use a little bit of score tape on the lip of that pocket just because that's going to be handled the most, and then I'll put wet glue on all the rest of it. And then this will give each bag, I'll have a pocket, and then I'll have the interior where I can put insert cards in order to do my pictures and journaling. And I'm going to kind of use this like a December documented. My hubby and I, don't do too much because we work in 2 different locations, so we're always commuting back and forth. So most of the time nowadays we don't put up a tree because we're just never at one spot long enough. And we also don't do a gift exchange or anything either. It's been probably more than a decade since I've exchanged gifts at Christmas. It would be weird now for me to actually get a gift. That would be strange. So I don't have that to document, but I do have grandkids now, and they're doing things, and we still do other things. We celebrate with people, we meet with people and have dinners and do all that kind of stuff. So I totally want to document that and have a place for a lot of journaling as well. And so I'm just testing it to see about what size my inserts need to be and getting an idea. But the ribbon from the bag was kind of getting in the way. I needed to be able to slip that card in the back of the bag. And so the ribbon was kind of troublesome. So I don't cut it off there, but I do wind up cutting all the interior pages. I cut that ribbon off and I use those in my tags instead. And I leave just the ribbon on the first bag and the last bag so that I still have that gift bag feel to the whole album. You'll see that here in a minute. I'm going to cover the bottoms of all my pockets. There you can see I cut off all the interior ribbons. And then I punched holes 1 inch from the top and the bottom and put in my binder rings. So that's all I did for my pages. And now I can have some fun putting in all the goodies inside of it. And that tree is from a die cut pack from Company. Those tags are Company as well, and you can see there I use the ribbons from my bags as my tag ties. And then a lot of these other cute, like this music note card and that December and this flash card, are all from a lot of October afternoon miscellany packs and city sidewalk packs. Really, really old stuff. That's Company, those little gingerbread men. And I had a lot of stuff in my stash. I have an iris case with all my Christmas things in it, and it was getting kind of full. And, since funds are a little bit shorter this year, I don't feel right buying craft supplies right now. So I totally want to play with the supplies that I already have and make sure I get good use out of those. So I'm just looking to how I'm going to put things in on the flaps. When I put this doll down there, I want to make it so that I could still use it as a tuck spot and put something behind it. So I just put a little bit of that score tape on there and then a little bit of wet glue. And she's really cute. She looks good on top of that green paper. And I totally want to use some of those gingerbread men on that gingerbread bag. I think that would be really cute. So I'm going to use a gingerbread man on there eventually. But I go through all my stash, and you can see I've got these old chipboard pieces. Those round things are ones left over from a kit I got a long time ago and didn't use. I think it was a kit I got from an Etsy seller. Those little manila tags at the top right are also from that Etsy seller that were left over. So I pull all those out to the side, and I use all those as tabs for different inserts and things that I put on the interior of my bag. There's the chip box of chipboard pieces from Company. And they're all really gorgeous. I tried to stick with the vintage items because I think the vintage and off-white especially went the best with the craft colored bags. But I do mix some white in there too. I couldn't help it. I just had so many things that had white on it that I wanted to use. But I tried to stick with all kind of retro and vintage sort of images. At first I tried to just stick with the reds and greens, but then when I saw these other vintage images with the pinks and stuff on it and the blue, I thought, oh heck, you know what, I'm going to make this eclectic and just kind of throw it all in and have some fun with it. So I love just sticking like that Santa and the tree just randomly in the pockets. And here I am just going and sticking a bunch of other my larger cards inside the bags. And then the smaller ones in the pockets. So really cute stuff that I'm glad that I'm getting out of my stash and being able to use. This is going to give me a lot of space because a lot of the cards, some of them were double-sided, but a lot of them were just single-sided. So especially on those, I'm going to, put my photos all on those backs that don't have any other print on them. And it'll give me a lot of room for journaling as well. And a couple of these cards were really, really big, and so I just punched holes in them and I'm using them as little insert pages. I go ahead and cut this tag down and just hook it on a ring, but I do wind up removing that later. I do one on the front, but again, I remove that later because I wind up using some more dimensional items. That's a wooden tag I had gotten at Michael's, which was really cute, but again, that doesn't stay there. So the rest of this is just kind of fussing through, and I leave a lot of this in just so you can see, I don't know how I do it. Sometimes I like to see how other people's thought processes and in what order they do things. So here you can see I'm using those manila stamped items. I'm just going to put one on one of the cards in each of the pockets so that there's things kind of sticking out along that side. And then I pull out a bunch of die cuts, and I'm just kind of flipping through all the ones, and I cut some of them out with each of these dies out of some red and some gold specialty paper, And then I use, there are all the items. I use some of them, I don't use all of them. So now I have some more things to put back in my stash. But I love those gingerbread men. I was thinking of putting them on the pocket there, but I wind up using them as like pages inside. And I thought, because I have the die cut, I could cut my photo out to be that same shape and glue it on the back of those little gingerbread men. That would be really cute. Have little shaped photos. So that was a border piece, and I think I wind up putting a red border on one page and a gold border on another. And it just adds that little bit of sparkle to my pockets and kind of finishes off. Well, this one I do on this insert page and the other one I do on a pocket. Just adds a little bit of bling to the album. Since most of my papers, or actually all of my papers in that Kringle & Co. are just regular scrapbook paper, they don't have any kind of glitter or varnish or anything like that on them. So this just kind of blings it up a little bit. So there I am. Actually, I went to pull out my my Xyron sticker maker that I don't use nearly enough. And I thought, you know what? It's adhesive. It's going to get old if I don't use it. I should just use it. You know, it's like you buy these things and you wind up kind of hoarding it. I don't know, at least I do. And I thought, you know what? Now's the time when I need to use my stash. So I go ahead and I pull that stuff out and start using it. So yeah, now it's just going to be kind of fussing with these items. Again, I wanted to put that gingerbread man on that gingerbread bag. So I use a tag shape where I can put a little photo. And then I have those 3 Prima flowers and then left from that 6-pack that I totally want to use on this and get them used up. Then I have these flowers, which I don't quite use the whole package of. They're Prima as well. I think I've used a couple out of there, but I have quite a few left. There's some tabs that I had cut out of the Bow Bunny using a Bow Bunny die. And I'm just going to put a tab on the top of that gift. So it'll make it easier to pull out of that pocket. And it just adds a little bit of shine there because that paper is shiny. You can't really see it on screen, but it is shiny, kind of foiled paper. I have these stickers left over from a Scraptastic kit from several years ago that I haven't finished up. I try several times to use stickers from this, but I don't quite get any of them used up, so I'll have to use that for a layout. And then I have some left of these K & Company birds. They're dimensional bird stickers. I've used quite a few, but there's still quite a few left in the pack, so I think I only used one on this, so I've got a ways to go. And now I've pulled out my hot glue. I'm just going to go ahead and put that gingerbread man and the flower down. And then I need to decorate the rest of these flaps or pockets. And when I put that doll down, I tried to make it so that an insert would still fit behind it, so it would be like a little tuck spot. But I'm not quite sure what I'm going to tuck behind it yet. I like that poinsettia chipboard piece. I'm just kind of searching through and getting familiar with all of these stash items. There's the K & Company, that's where I got the tree and the dolls and stuff, and they actually had some acetate pieces included in that die cut pack as well. So I just pulled out one that was like a fir branch or a pine branch, and I'm going to use the poinsettia. I'm going to glue that down, and that will hold the acetate piece as well. And then I'm just gluing the 2 sides, and then that should allow me to still make a tuck spot behind there. So I go ahead and I look through trying to pick out a tag. But it needs to kind of be more like a vertical tag so it will poke up enough. And I like that poinsettia because it echoes the poinsettia chipboard piece. So now I want to decorate my gingerbread bag on the back side of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to put any pictures on these. I think I'm just going to leave them as is. I decorate each of them a little bit. I put the Santa on there, and I put it so that some of the glue goes above and below the acetate piece, so that holds it on. I find this little bear tag and another piece of the ribbon that I cut off the bag and just put that behind the doll. And then I'm going to use one of these Prima flowers that I want to get used up, and I'm going to put it on the bow, and then I'm going to save one for the front. So I put the green one here, and then I save the red one for the front cover. I'm going to use another one of these Bow Bunny die cut pieces, tabs to put on here. I think I get it on there crooked and have to kind of peel it up and then re-glue it. Go ahead and get that positioned on there, and then I use my tiny attacher to make sure it stays on. And then on this red pocket, and then I find that gold piece, and I think that would look great peeking out from behind that green flower. So like I said, I kind of jump all around, but you get to kind of see the process of how I do it. As I find things, I flip back and forth through pages where I think it would work the best. And I had this piece that I had run through the Xyron sticker maker there, and that one didn't die cut all the way. One side ripped, so now I'm just using pieces of it, so it doesn't really matter that it ripped. I'm just using the portions and tucking it in around that flower, and that just adds a little bit of bling to that craft bag. Yet you can still see the candy canes and the Merry Christmas sentiment on there. I'm going to use this other die cut piece that I made on this pocket. And then I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do on this one to decorate it. So I start going through all my stash. It's like, well, do I want to use another doll or one of the gingerbread? I love that gingerbread man because I cut it out of a paper that has lines. So it'll be perfect for some journaling. And then I glue it so it'll make a little tuck spot as well. And I just trim his arm and his leg off there. So now I'm back to this pocket, and then I think that gingerbread man's a little bit plain, so I find these little holly pieces that I add to him just to give another little pop of color. I'm still trying to use some stickers off of that sheet, but yep, it just doesn't work for me. Then I find this little house die cut that I think is, or chipboard piece that I think is so cute. So I go ahead and I decide to put that down there, but it needs to tuck farther in toward the center, and the ring is kind of in the way. So I wind up just taking my punch and punching a hole in it, and then I glue it on, insert it over that ring, and then that turns that into a tuck spot as well. So that works out good. And I'm just kind of going back through seeing where I've missed pieces and where I still need to add something. And I want to add something to that Joy to the World bag, but I don't want to cover up the sentiment, so I'm kind of confused as to what I'm going to do there. Think about putting some of this acetate on there, but it's kind of big. So I'm still not sure, and I keep looking through my die cut pieces, and I find this one that fits up there. It brings some color. It has a similar sentiment, but it doesn't cover up or detract from the one that's already pre-printed on there. So I just go ahead and put that along the edge for some color. And then I'm still thinking about this one, and I like having a tuck spot on the pocket. So I'm looking through all my die cut pieces, trying to find something else that'll work there. I think about that flashcard. But then I think I go with this train. And I think that's really cute. And it's about the right size. I look at the birdhouse, but if I put it down at the bottom, I'd have to cut that ribbon off. So I decide to stay with the train. Again, I just put glue on the two sides. And then I can still have room for another tag. And I had the miscellany pack had a little wound up piece of ribbon, green ribbon. So since I used up all of my ribbon off my bags, I go ahead and pull that. It's a little bit fatter sized ribbon, so it's a little bit harder to get it through the small hole of this tag. But I do finally wind up getting that inserted and everything. And it just, I love the softness of this. It's kind of like almost like a seam binding type of ribbon. It just adds that little pop of texture and color on there. It looks really nice. So I just go ahead and trim that off. And yeah, that tag was just kind of getting in the way more than adding to things, so I went ahead and removed it. And then I go ahead and I remove that wooden tag because I want to put these flowers on here instead. So I know I definitely want that red flower on there. And I'm looking through for some other things that I could put to help kind of anchor that flower onto the front of the bag and make it look like it belongs. So I look back at that ribbon and I think, I have enough left here to make a nice bow for the front. So I go ahead and I kind of fuss with that a little bit to get a nice bow. And then I'll also put some ribbon on that top binder ring, and I'll do that off screen at the end and show you on the flip through. So I go ahead and I get the flower put down. Then I go ahead and get my bow put down. I'm liking that. That was just covering up my sentiment a little bit too much. It was a little too big, so I went ahead and trimmed that down. And then I look through all these little tiny bits on my desk that I have, and I have some metal pieces. So I look through, and I also have some little tiny wood veneers. And I think I wind up going back to that little silver metal snowflake, and I just go ahead and tuck that there. It's a small thing, but it just adds a third item in that cluster. And then I totally wanted to use up the flowers from that pack, from that first Prima pack. So I wind up putting that flower there, and that gets rid of that package. And then I think I go to do my tassel and stuff for the binder, and I put my ribbons on, and then I come back and I do a final flip through and show you everything here. So here we go. Here's the final product. You can see the two handles, and I still have that little peppermint gift tag on the back handle of the bag. And then I had these bells from the dollar store that I got a year or so ago, and they were like a bell garland, and I just cut 3 of them off to make a tassel or a charm to hang on the binder. And then I just got some ribbons from my stash to put on that binder ring. There you can see the I zoom in a little bit, you can see that silver snowflake just kind of tucked in there, and that's a metal snowflake. And I apologize for the color on this. I finished the album at night, so then I filmed this during the day, and the actual sunlight was kind of messing with my studio lights, because normally I always do my recording really late at night, like, midnight or so. So I'm not used to actually scrapbooking or filming during daylight hours. So I apologize for that. But there you could see are some of the inserts. And that one's got a little bit of pattern on the back. This one I think is just plain. Oh no, it's got pattern as well. They both have a cute little tab to help pull them out. And then in the pocket, I have that poinsettia tag there. And I put a little silver bell on top of that chipboard poinsettia. Then I have my gift, and that one's blank on the back, so I can put a photo back there. And I can put a photo on the back of this tree, or I could do some journaling strips on my typewriter and glue those on. It's a little insert page. Can totally add another photo or just some journaling there, or a quote. I like all these little to from cards that I can write on. Those two are blank on the back for photos and journaling. And then I have this cute little Santa in there as well. I love the vintage K & Company items. They just, I think, really add a lot to this, and they work so well with those craft bags. So just some little things from, I think that was from an October afternoon stuff there. Have a little tab put on that one. There's that flower with the Santa. And again, I'm so sorry for the color. I just could not get the yellow tones out of this. But you saw most of it as I was making it. So this is just kind of the final, how it ended up. I didn't change too many things after putting it together, just mostly that outside charm. And I think it just turned out super cute, and I look forward to getting pictures and stuff to put in there. There I put a little Santa charm on the tab, so I did add that. There I've got space behind him to stick a photo. And there's another to from. And I put another little metal tree charm down on that house down below, because they didn't have any little jump rings to add them to an actual charm. They were just like little metal pieces, so I just went ahead and glued them straight on. It's another little journaling card, another one of those little gingerbread people, and another insert with a little tab, banner tab. So yeah, I look forward to seeing, what I can gather up to put in this. Hopefully the kids post lots of pictures of the grandchildren, so I'll be living precariously through them, because this is just a normal work month for me. But we do have an anniversary in the month of December, our wedding anniversary, so I can journal that in here as well. And there you can see the rest of my inserts. And I think it just turned out super cute. And having the little handle still on the front and back makes you able to still, pick it up like a gift bag or like a little purse. So it still kind of retains its paper bag origins. Yet it looks kind of like a little junk journal. And it's not too bulky. You'll see here, I show you that thing. But yeah, it'll sit. I sort of get it to sit up. But yeah, it'll sit up on a shelf. So yeah, I think it turned out really cute. And so I encourage anybody who's got any of the same stash to go ahead and get it out. And make some mini albums and play with the craft supplies that you've got in hand. And I'd love to see what you make as well. Here are a few stills, and if you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment down below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.